Okay, guys, so in this one, let's create another dashboard with another different approach. Before we do that, recap in my previous video, we created this dashboard with, you can say, two ways, side with each other and a map underneath it. Another variation I created right there. But now let's create one more dashboard. Okay. Um, Fixed desktop browser, all my sheets, you have objects, and they are right now tiled. Tile means if, let's say, I drop horizontal filter here, it takes the whole space. Or if I drop one next to it, they're stuck there, they're taking the whole space. So let me remove that. Another approach is floating. Things are not fixed, they're floating. And now what you can do is when you drop this object, so you can say, okay, this is where I'll put my one visualization there, and maybe I'll put one here, and I'm just using horizontal for now, just for this example, and one here, and then maybe still horizontal. This is where I'll put my text, my name, and this time maybe and I'll use a vertical one here because I want to place things vertically. This is where I can put all my legends and my filter. So with this approach, basically what you are doing is, let me increase the width a little bit more. What you're doing is you're pre-deciding a little bit more how your worksheets placement would be and how they will look like. And in this scenario, let's use a little bit different worksheets. So I'm going to take profit by state, drop it here, and then I'm going to, as it says, hold down the shift key, and holding shift key, I'm dropping it inside, sorry, inside that container. Perfect. Okay. I have this lollipop chart, bring it here, then press the shift key, and maybe I'll drop it there. Then I have my donut, and I'll drop it holding the shift key inside there. And which other one can I use? Let me look. I have this. Mm, maybe this one. Okay, I bring that one, and then I drop it there. Okay. And now you can see they are all contained inside those spaces, and we can now easily do the placement as we feel like. Continuing that, you can bring the text and say my dashboard again, or any other information you want to put. And of course, spell it correctly. And drop it. Hold it, drop it there. Okay. Take this one legend, for example. Hold the shift key, drop it there. We have one more, hold the shift key, drop it there. This one, hold the shift key. You don't have to keep all of them. I'm just showing this example that this is another approach you can take to place your work. So the only difference from previous approach is that we have a much more control in how we do the placement. So let's say if you want to increase the size of this one, which we would really want so that the whole thing is visible, you click onto it and you are not able to see that arrow key for it to come, because now the layout is a little bit different with use of containers. So how do we do that? We go to the layout button. Previous example, we simply did border and background, but now our work is a little bit more complex. We have hierarchy here. So you can see all these containers and what sheet is under each of those container. So for example, this was a first container which has text under it. Excuse me. A second container, horizontal, which has lollipop chart. This one has another lollipop chart. This one has the map, and this container has the donor sheet. So I want to change the size of it. So I'll select the horizontal container. So now that's selected, and now I can change its size a little bit, and so that my work fits in there. Click on donut, and I can say fit entire view, which is already there. And I will say let's use this one as filter. So now I click this. It's impacting all the other ones. Oh, looks like I forgot these are some more filters there. I'm going to take them, drop them right there. Make that container a little bit more. Okay, there's one more. Drop it right there. Okay. And let's see. So all my data is reacting to it. And I have not done any formatting as of now, but we can. So we can move this around. Same thing with lollipop. Let's make our this thing full size. Okay, so now going back to the layout, and I want to change this one, which is under this container. Select that container, and I can move it around. So this way of using container give us a little bit more flexibility as how we want to place our visualization compared to the previous approach where all the visualizations were right on one canvas. Now that's not the case. Now inside the canvas we have these multiple floating containers, which adds more flexibility. So this is a second approach which people take, especially as their skill advance in creating dashboard. And that's a second approach. Let me show you the third approach, and I'm going to say create another dashboard. And this time what I'm going to do right away, because now we are a little bit more advanced in a skill set, I'm saying automatic full one. And instead of using floating container, I will use tile containers. That means they stick to the canvas. So first container is the only one, nothing else is there. It's taking the whole canvas. I'm going to take one more horizontal, put it on this side. Now one container, second container, another vertical container maybe here, and maybe another vertical container under that. So now I have one container, two, three, and four like that, depending on if that's sort of the way I want to do things. Maybe one on the top again for my text. So maybe drop the map there. Sales. This is by profit by category. Sales. Do I all? Oh, that's sales. Sorry, that's already there. Profit. I have this one. So this is my container where I'm gonna put my text, which I'll do right now. So awesome dashboard tiled approach. Okay, which is inside that container. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one more container inside that existing container, actually vertical one right there, and move all these now, like how we did previously, inside there. Hold the shift key, drop it there. This one, I think I don't even need it. Hold the shift key, find the container, make sure it, why are you not? There. So now that's where my thing is. I still have, looks like I still have one empty container there, and I can drop one more visualization there. Do I need this? Oh, I don't think so. Okay, guys. Maybe make it, use it as filter, turn that option on. And once you have done this, now you can start using this borders, colors, things like that in the background to improve the visibility of your chart, and use some of these as filters as well. But this was my way to just show you another approach compared to the previous one, where each of those containers was separate. They were all floating. We can move them anywhere we want. With tiled approach, they kind of tightly sit next to each other like that. And you you can move them as a placement, but not as freely as the tiled one. So this is our third approach with tiled uh, tiled filters. So is there a preference in whether we should simply drop our worksheet on the top of canvas? Should I use uh, floating containers like how we did here, or should I use tiled containers? It generally goes with the practice. Generally, people, once they evolve this skill set, most of the time they stick with having a tiled container first in your dashboard, and then dropping on visualization in each of those containers, so that your whole dashboard, your whole canvas is tightly packed with each other. And especially when you use different kinds of screens, since it's a tile container, it reacts appropriately. So you don't have to worry about moving them around. But on the other hand, I believe if in this floating container, if we change it to different things, as you can see, it doesn't work that great. So you have to do a little bit more work in having a better alignment. So so it's up to you, whichever you feel is better for you to use. Finally, before we end, I wanted to show you one of my passion dashboard which I created related to Star Wars movies. It has this bubble chart, butterfly chart with icons and some text, pictures which reacts with the data and stuff. So I use this butterfly chart, which is very similar to dual axis chart. All you have to do is click on the axis, and generally that's how you start in a dual axis chart. If you say reverse, yep, you can achieve that simply. And that's a sort of a bubble chart I created. Movie logos, I had those pictures in there, lightsaber pictures, and then I sort of brought all of them together on this dashboard. Just to show you what all the possibilities are out there. Thank you for watching, guys.